Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to hear me talk about redefining the excellence in bioabsorbable medical devices. We have an investment opportunity for part 2 of our Series A. We've already raised about £3.5 million, about $5 million. We're looking for another 4 million, so about $5 million, and we have already about 3 million of that on the table. So we're looking for about another $2 million to complete that raise. So why bioabsorbable devices? So you're probably familiar with these products. They've been around for decades. The primary reason to use a resorbable product or an absorbable product is that you have a temporary implant, and it's better for that implant to be degrading away rather than staying there permanently. That eliminates the need for follow-up surgery to remove the permanent implant, and it eliminates long-term side effects that can be associated with permanent implants. So you'll be familiar with things like sutures, fixation devices, stents, some of the typical examples. Now, the market for these types of products has grown over the years to about $1 billion per annum in material terms, and about $6 billion per annum in device terms. We think that could have got a lot bigger because these materials are actually held back by a number of inherent limitations. The mechanical properties are very limited. They tend to be quite rigid, these materials, and that can lead to brittle failure. It can also lead to a mismatch with the local tissue. So in things like soft tissue implants, that can result in pain. It can result in migration and penetration. In things like spine, it can result in subsidence, where the stiffness of the implant is greater than the local bone. So that is a limitation. The degradation profiles can also cause problems through bulk hydrolysis and the release of acidic byproducts when they degrade. So PLA, polylactic acid into lactic acid, glycolic acid, polyglycolic acid into glycolic acid. They also have a limited range of processing technologies, which limits what you can do to them in terms of complexity of device design. So these constraints inspired our founders to research in basically new chemistry to overcome those limitations. And what we've come up with is a product trade name Fordegra, and it's the world's first precision printable photopolymer for degradable medical devices. So what we make is a liquid resin, and we cure that resin by 3D printing or other processes into a solid device. So a 3D printing process, for those of you that are not familiar with it, basically involves a liquid resin and then light being shone into that resin, which causes a cure layer by layer progressively into a product. So here is a computer image of a 3D printing machine in our labs making 60 interference screws per batch. So we can make 50,000 of these screws in one machine per annum. So this is a volume process. This is no longer a prototyping process. The other thing that we can do with this material that is unique is we can 3D print it at any scale. From nanoscale, this is a 500 micron scale bar there. So this is a thing you can barely see with your naked eye, but precision. To micro scale, so that's a 1 centimeter scale bar there. That's a micro needle patch for transdermal drug delivery. A macro scale, here is a ventral hernia repair device, which is about as big as your hand. And incidentally, the modulus of that device there has been matched to the properties of the abdominal wall, so it behaves exactly as you want it to do in that location. So these unique versatility enables a wide range of medical devices to be produced using this material. This image here illustrates one of the other advantages, that this material degrades by surface erosion from the outside in, and that means that you can computer model how it works, how it degrades, and that gives you the opportunity to optimize device design. You can put more mass where you want it to degrade more slowly, or you can introduce porosity where you want it to degrade quickly and get faster tissue ingrowth. That's another unique feature of this material. And that's the computer model doing its thing. And that accuracy of that modeling has been corroborated with accelerated testing and in vivo data. So one of the first products that we're taking through to the FDA for clearance on the 510K is an interference screw for ACL repair. So when you tear an ACL in your knee, you would repair it with a fixation screw that reattaches the ligament. This is a low-risk application, so it can go through a 510K, and the intention of this is to de-risk the technology. After 12 months in sheep, this is our screw, starting to degrade nicely, but it's still giving you very good fixation throughout that period. The predicate, which is a PLGA material, has completely degraded into fibrous tissue and has lost any fixation value sometime during that first 12 months. So our product is actually mapping onto the ideal degradation profile over time, much better than the existing materials. And this is one example of why these materials, we hope, will redefine excellence in this market space. We're not limited to making orthopedic materials. We can make materials for soft tissue applications. This is a transparent film made from the same material, slightly different formulation, and we will be using this in nerve repair applications. And we can also make fine particles, so these can be used in drug delivery applications or injectable materials for aesthetic medicine. So our strategy, given the breadth of things that we could do with this material, we've basically developed a strategy that targets the three main market segments of musculoskeletal, soft tissue, and aesthetics, big total addressable markets, and we're doing this in a sort of pragmatic way of having a bridgehead through the interference screw into the musculoskeletal market, probably by the end of this year, and then a nerve repair wrap into the soft tissue market, and a dermal filler product into the aesthetic market. Other products we could develop in partnership with strategic partners in the course of time will include controlled release drug delivery, cardiovascular products, and precision oncology products. The technology is patented. The patent is granted in the US and is pending in other markets around the world. We've got a total of 5 patents pending. The first 2 have granted in the US, and the trade names have all been trademarked. There's a world-class team behind this, including the founder, Professor Andrew Dove, and Medtech veterans, 3D printing experts. So the guys up there, between them, have been involved in unicorns, Medtech device companies. Didier Cowling, for example, top right, with Huros, and now a unicorn. So it's a good team with good track records. And this is our financial history. We've gone from a $1 million valuation at startup through to receiving an acquisition bid for 10 million before our 3rd birthday, that's pounds. And we now are at pre-money valuation of 17 million. We expect to grow to about 30 million pounds, about $40 million on the FDA 510K being granted. So the investment opportunity today is about $2.5 million left of the Series A Part 1 for just over 10% equity, shares at $113 a go. And the indicative returns, if we achieve our goals and overcome all the remaining risks, of course, are in this order. So it's somewhere in that sort of ballpark. So we're aiming high, we're ambitious, and we'd be delighted to talk to anyone who has any questions or is interested in either partnering with us or investing. So thank you very much.